Hello, everyone, and welcome to our explanation of how our solution works. So there is multiple steps involved, with the first step being pre-processing the textual data provided to us. So we first imported both the raw data that have been provided to us through the Datathon folder, and we use Spacey and NLTK library to pre-process the text. So we use three different methods to pre-process. Firstly will be the tokenization, the lemmatization, and stop word removal. So tokenization is typically, we use it to break down the entire sentences into like words and phrases so that we can process it later on. And lemmatization involves breaking down the words to their root form. For example, attack, attacks, attacking, attacker, all this will be um, for fork back to their root form of attack. Yeah. And stop word removal basically removes all the unwanted or the unnecessary words in the particular lemmatized words or phrases. Yeah. So we use these three steps to pre-process the text before we further analyze it. Yeah.
So after we get the Excel that contains all of the pre-processed news from the first part of the code, we use NLTK to visualize all of the relationships that are seen on the news articles. So using the pre-processed news Excel that was created from the previous code, we load it and we try to extract the main entities, countries, agencies, and keywords from all of the broken down tokenized length of the news articles that were in the pre-processed news art Excel. Then after extracting all of that, we summarize it. Then the main important thing that we have is the visualization. So our group wanted to actually see how exactly does these like keywords, countries, and agencies actually show over time. We thought that the best idea was to have a model that actually is able to visualize all of this information. So as you can see, we have a timeline by year on like the events. We also have trend lines. We also included a heat map to showcase the relationship between country and keyword. I think that's very important. And we also have Sankey diagrams to showcase the relationship as well. Then we also included a country keyword map. Lastly, this main function provides this is the input of pre-processed news. We just added this again. And then output file, this just so yeah, it runs through all of this code. And as you can see, I'll go through like some of the graphs over here. So we have event distribution by year. So number of events over a span of the years that was mentioned within the news articles. Here's the trend of countries mentioned. So frequency, like how many times was it mentioned? So you can see like China is mentioned a lot in these years, like 2023, 2020, and so on and so forth. Agencies as well. How often is it mentioned frequency? So trend of agency over time. We also have the heat map. So for example, the word attack is mentioned a lot in correlation to the words of United States. So that's very common. Nuclear, North Korea, China, and conflict. Similar things you get to notice. Also Russian conflict. Then there's also agency keyword association. So UN and attack, very common. Then you can see country and keyword relationship. So this is the Sankey diagram. So it showcases the relationship. So for example, the bigger here is means that the keyword is mentioned more. Then you can see which is related to the country. So nuclear is mentioned 8 times, but it's mentioned basically 3 times by North Korea, for instance. Same thing with agency. It's a bit more clear here since there are lesser agencies. Then we have a interactive geographical map showcasing the frequency. So the darker the color, the less it is mentioned. So as you can see, the US, Russia, and China are very clearly mentioned in this. Lastly, this is the trend of keywords over time. So things like this is what we want to see. So I think this is very important in actually getting insights on trying to understand like what are could be like security threats, for instance. In this case, the words attack, conflict happen a lot with relation to like the US, Russia, China. So this could be some flags for potential threats that could occur.